Hello, reactors. How have you been? It's been a small break, but I'm back. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at you right now. You look deep in thought, listening to my every word. Hopefully, you survive past this introduction to hear all the great things Dave has to say, but I don't make any guarantees. Either way, welcome back to the Reaction Shot, a pop culture podcast. I'm right behind you.
Whoa, wow. Okay. Right, that was creepy. I don't know what happened right there, but anyway. Hello, reactors, and welcome back. Look at us, making our way through Season 3, and I am still buzzing every time I hit record. None of this happens without you, the listeners. I am also still so proud to be a part of the You Run Podcast Network, a powerhouse lineup of creators covering everything under the sun. And speaking of powerhouses, I need to spotlight one show in particular. You gonna eat that crust? If you love comedy podcasts that feel like hanging out with your funniest friends, go check out You Gonna Eat That Crust? Hosted by 3 lifelong buddies, these guys dive into movies, pop culture, video games, nostalgia, and whatever weird obsession grabs their attention that week. One episode, they're battling rival podcasters over creature feature trivia. The next, they're deep diving into 16-bit games. It's chaotic, nostalgic, and it's always hilarious. It's truly a podcast that you don't want to miss out on. You can find their show and the entire network lineup at yourunpodcast.com. Go explore, go binge, go support the creators who make this community so damn fun. After you deep dive into the You Run Podcast creators and subscribe to them all, be sure to check out Primate from Paramount Pictures. A group of friends' vacation turns into a terrifying, primal tale of horror and survival. Guys, I had such a blast with this movie. It's fast-paced, suspenseful, funny, and a complete gore fest. Go check out Primate now, available on DVD, Blu-ray, and digital. And it doesn't stop there. Scream 7 is out now on digital from Paramount Pictures. That's right, fear comes home. Nowhere is safe. Prepare to scream. The 7th entry in the Scream franchise does not disappoint. So go check it out. Go buy or rent Scream 7 on digital now. It'll be a killer time. And as for me, the reaction shot? Well, you're here now at episode 7 of season 3. For this episode, we're taking a quick trip to Hollywood, where the set of Stab 3 is suddenly under attack after a new Ghostface begins targeting the cast. That's right, for this episode, we're taking a deep dive into the Scream franchise's most divisive entry, Scream 3. But before we dive into the chaos behind the scenes, how about a little refresher? The film opens in Hollywood with the murder of a familiar face. The murder quickly grabs the attention of Gale Weathers and Dewey Riley, pulling them back into the spotlight as they try to figure out who's behind this new wave of attacks. Meanwhile, Sidney Prescott has stepped away from the world she once knew, living under a new identity and trying to build a life far from the trauma that's defined her past. But when the killer starts leaving clues tied to her mother Maureen, Sidney realizes she can't stay hidden forever. She's drawn back to Los Angeles, where the murders, the movie set, and her family history all start to collide. As the body count rises, the investigation points toward long-buried Hollywood secrets. Secrets that are connected to Maureen, the Stab franchise, and someone who may have been pulling the strings from the shadows all along. I finally introduced this movie to guest Lauren Drake, her very first watch. While I've seen it enough times to remember all the dialogue, jumps, twists, kills, jokes, and ringing phones, experiencing it through Lauren's fresh eyes felt like a whole new experience. Lauren and I finally sat down to unpack everything about this film. The fan base split, the behind-the-scenes chaos, the rewrites nobody was supposed to know about, the casting choices, and how the whole thing got watered down on its way to release. And yes, some hot takes that are definitely going to get us a round of applause, or maybe even yelled at. So settle in and listen to us dissect Wes Craven's Scream 3. Because all I know is that in the third one, all bets are off. And remember, psychos can't kill what they can't find. Hi everyone, I'm Dave E. Herman, and this is The Reaction Shot, a pop culture podcast. Here, every episode is a deep dive into the stories, visuals, sounds, and moments that shape our culture. This season, I'm going bigger. Sure, a guest and I still break down the movies we love, but now we're exploring the TV that keeps us up all night, the music that scores our lives, and the creative minds behind it all. From first-time reactions to heartfelt love letter episodes, to exclusive conversations with filmmakers, showrunners, musicians, and everyone in between, this is your all-access pass to the art that moves us. Whether we're dissecting behind-the-scenes magic, unpacking cultural impact, or debating wildly different opinions, one thing is guaranteed. We're diving deep into the world of pop culture. If it's on a screen, in your headphones, or blowing up the timeline, we're breaking it all down. Past, present, and future. Thank you for hitting play. Now it's time to ask, what's your reaction? Fade in. Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Reaction Shot, a pop culture podcast. Returning guest Lauren Drake is here with me today. Lauren, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Dave?
I am doing wonderful. We haven't done a movie episode in a while, you and I. So a fun fact for everyone, we actually have recorded 2 other movie episodes, and there's been some technical difficulties, but you know what? Scream 3 is the movie that we're doing today, and I know it won't let us down. Lauren, we've done Scream 1, which was actually the very first episode ever of The Reaction Shot, and you were my guest. And for the season 2 premiere, we did Scream 2. Here we are in season 3, and we are doing Scream 3. So that's pretty cool. Thanks for being back.
Of course, always.
Scream 3.
Always.
Yeah. Jumping into the basics of Scream 3, it's a mystery horror slasher film that was released on February 4th, 2000. So it just celebrated its 26th anniversary. How crazy is that? Kind of baffling. And the franchise itself is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. So we've been in this game for 30 years with Ghostface.
That's insane.
Scream 3 was written by Aaron Kruger, and returning director Wes Craven was behind the camera and brought his vision to the film yet again. So this is his 3rd film in the franchise. Now, let's talk a little bit about this cast. This is a big cast. This is a big list of people, and when I was writing everything down, I was kind of like, man, I can't leave some of these people out. So we have Neve Campbell, of course, returning as Sidney Prescott. We have Courtney Cox Arquette as Gail Weathers. We have David Arquette as Dewey Riley. We also have Patrick Dempsey as Detective Mark Kincaid. We have Parker Posey as Jennifer Jolie. We have Emily Mortimer as Angelina Tyler. We have Matt Kiesler as Tom Prince. We have Dion Richmond as Tyson Fox. We have Jenny McCarthy as Sarah Darling. We have Patrick Warburton as Steve Stone. Heather Matrizo as Martha Meeks. We also have Kelly Rutherford as Christine. Liev Schreiber as Cotton Weary, Scott Foley as Roman Bridger, Lance Heckerson as John Milton. We also have cameos from Carrie Fisher as Bianca, Jamie Kennedy as Randy Meeks, Lynn McCree as Maureen Prescott, and returning Ghostface voice is Roger Jackson. Sorry guys, I couldn't leave any of that out.
What a cast.
It's great that we're in Scream 3 and we still have our returning main characters that are back. They were hungry to just keep going. Of course, we'll kind of get into a little bit how some of the cast members didn't have as much time that they could provide to be on set, but they still made it work. The film had a budget of $40 million. For its opening weekend, it made $34.7 million, so basically made its budget back just in the first weekend in the US and Canada alone. It went on to gross $89 million total in the United States, and then the worldwide gross brought it to $161.8 million. Another Scream franchise hit. Yeah.
Another hit. Yeah.
Now, we're going to get into the controversy of Scream 3. Scream 3 was not a critical darling. People were not loving this film. Critics weren't loving the movie. Audiences weren't loving the movie. As of today, if you get online and you look at all the wonderful ratings that people leave, on Internet Movie Database, we're at a 5.7 out of 10. On Letterboxd, we're at a
not good.
2.9 out of 10. Metacritic, we're at a 56 out of 100. Rotten Tomatoes, we're at a 45% critically and a 38% audience score. Abysmal.
Yikes.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's
That's
bad.
crazy. Real bad.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Lauren, I'm going to have to ask you, we're going to get into the breakdown of all the things that we think about this movie, but we have to go ahead and jump right into some of the reviews that we found online that kind of let us know what people were thinking about the movie. I'm going to start with you. This is
Okay.
my favorite part. Let me know what reviews you have. I'd love to hear what they got to say.
Okay. So this first one's a 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. And the title of the review is "Wanna know who the killer is? The killer in Scream is dot 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 Wes Craven." Because he probably
Ooh.
killed the careers of every actor in this movie. The first Scream was pretty decent. The second was disappointing, but not all bad. And Scream 3 is just plain dull. There's nothing left in this franchise to hold my interest. You'd think since the first Scream was fairly original and innovative that there'd be something new and fresh in Scream 3, but it's all the same boring scenes and killings that were in the first two, just with different actors. In the original Scream film, they made a point to almost mock and make fun of typical slasher films. Now the series has just become everything that the first film set out to make fun of. I knew about 30 minutes into the film that I was going to hate it, but once they revealed the big shocking ending, all I could do was laugh really loud and really hard. And I wasn't the only one in the theater doing so. If you're going to waste your time and rent this. Oh, you'll at least be entertained by the music. That's about all that kept me watching. Dave, he has a ghost face mask on right now.
I would never.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack that review for a minute because I don't necessarily disagree with everything. It's a rough one.
Really rough. Poor Wes Craven. This is the second time I've watched this movie, and I feel like that's a little unfair. This one's unfair. Like, the first time I saw this movie, I could have definitely agreed with this, but the second watch through, I was like, "Okay, this is not bad.
Okay.
I kinda like it."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, good.
But to say, like, Wes Craven killed all these actors' careers, that's a stretch because obviously they are all very successful still. So,
Right.
yeah.
All right, Lauren, do you have another one?
I do. I do.
Perfect.
Okay. So the title of this one is "I Could Have Spent $7 So Many Ways," which this must be old because oh, yep, 2000. I'm like,
Mm,
"What movie can you go see for $7
right.
anymore if it's
Sign me
discount
up.
night?"
Sign me up.
Yeah, this review was literally from February
Ah,
3rd, 2000. Okay, so it says, "I go to the movies practically every week, and I've seen the art films, the comedies, the dramas, the action movies, and I know what to expect from each. Don't look for character development in Dumb and Dumber, for example." Now, with that, I give you my review of Scream 3. I read that this movie was slapped together. Now I'm sure of it. The movie was so corny, so repetitive, so predictable, and I liked Scream 1 and 2, so I'm not biased. The ending leaves nothing to the imagination and actually ends up ruining the first movie. The theater was packed to the brim and no one was satisfied.
mm. I mean, okay, so when you and I start really talking about the movie, there's things about this I agree with, but I do think that people are way too harsh on the movie. I was one of them. I think you mentioned that when you watched it now the second time, you have a little bit more appreciation for it, correct?
I do, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
liked it a little bit better and I think because the first time I had watched it, I literally binge watched like 1, 2, and 3.
that's right.
So, I haven't seen 2 in what, like 6 months, so
Yeah,
yeah. I So I think that has a little bit to do with it too. Like, as a standalone movie, I'm like, "Okay, this is
cool.
actually." Yeah.
Love that. Okay. You have any other ones?
I have a positive one.
Okay, let's do the positive. Let's hear what this positive person has to say.
Okay, so this is entitled, "Scream Breaks All the Rules to Make a Masterpiece."
Mm.
Okay, so it says, "I walked into the theater already expecting something superb. The movie opens up scary right away. The guy I thought would be the killer is killed first. Every time expecting the usual scare, it would not be there. Every time you were not expecting a scare, it would be there." So the
Well,
acting
okay.
is the absolute best it could be. Critics and some people just cannot understand change is what you need to break all the rules and make a masterpiece. Before ending this review, I thank Scream 3. In the future, it will be appreciated like Hitchcock masterpieces.
Mm. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy that she really enjoyed it and put it in the Hitchcock realm. We like positive people.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
that last line alone was why I read that one.
I appreciate that. That's right up my alley. I would politely disagree that out of all the Scream movies, that Scream 3 would be in Hitchcock type scenario, but that's fine. I'm glad that she liked it a lot, and I really hope that she watches it next to an Alfred Hitchcock movie and sees that she's wrong. Just kidding. No, it's good. No, I'm glad it's good to hear the positive ones always, especially for Scream 3, which does get shit on quite a bit. So,
Mm,
you wanna hear my reviews, Lauren?
yes, I do.
I
Let's
can't
hear
wait to be can't wait to be dramatic, you know? Hmm.
it.
Alright, so this is a half star from Dean Tames from Letterboxd, and Dean says, "Scream 3 isn't just bad, it's an insult. Every scene drags, every twist is tired, and it's clear that no one cared about making a good movie. It's a soulless cash grab pretending to be a horror film, murdering the franchise it rides on. Watching this is like being slowly punched in the face by boredom and disappointment. Absolute garbage."
Wow.
Dean really came out swinging.
He said punched in the face by boredom and what was the second thing?
Disappointment. Mhm,
Disappointment. Okay,
mhm.
okay.
Yeah, boredom and disappointment just came out all
Swinging.
swinging. They were swinging, guys. So, that's one thing I will not agree with about this film when it comes to criticism is the boredom factor. I don't feel like Scream 3 is boring at all.
It's
If anything,
not.
If anything, I feel like it's really fast paced and
Fast paced and they jam a lot
yeah,
into the movie.
yes,
Yeah. Mhm.
1000%. Okay, I have another half star. Actually, I have 2 in a row that are all literally I take screenshots of the reviews when I read them, so there's actually 2 in the same screenshot. One is from Emily Jennifer, and it's a half star. She says, "It was boring. I stopped watching to learn the fate of Ophelia TikTok dance."
Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'm not gonna go on my soapbox, but that is not a review. That is literally a half star review that is dragging the rating of a film down, art that someone made. So you put a half star review, and I'm using air quotes, use a half star review because it was boring. So you stopped watching it, not even give it a chance. You stopped watching it to learn the fate of Ophelia, Taylor Swift TikTok dance. That is not a review. Yes.
This guy.
Lauren knows it, and she didn't stop watching Scream 3. She watched Scream 3 and learned the fate of Ophelia dance from TikTok.
I don't because I'm a real millennial. That's Instagram Reels, Dave.
Mm. Just Instagram Reels, guys. You heard it here first. These are the kind of reviews that piss me off.
Yeah.
And that's not a review. I mean, it's fine. You don't have to like the movie. You can think it's boring. You stop watching it. By all means, go for it. But don't come on here and write a review and drag a film that definitely needs a little bit of love. Don't drag it down for no reason and then bring Taylor Swift into the conversation.
Don't write a review when you haven't seen the whole movie.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, in that same category of unnecessary, horrible reviews, this person gave it a half star. Their name is Amity. Her review says, "The bangs are banging." Half star. So, yes, the
It's
bangs are banging. However,
Courtney Cox's bangs. Is that
yeah,
what
people are so obsessed with talking so much shit on Courtney Cox's bangs, and I get it. I talk about it a lot too, but that's not a review. We're not reviewing the film based on Courtney Cox's hair. Like that's
Yeah.
not what we're doing here, guys. This is, save that for hair school or something. I don't know. Yeah, so that makes me upset because again, that's not a review, but whatever. It's fine. There was another half star from someone named Paige, and they said, "Bangs." That's it.
Come on,
That's the review.
guy.
Yeah. So this is why, Scream 3 isn't the best, but this is why this film is being dragged through the mud with these reviews because we have people like this leaving those types of reviews. So I'm going to get away from the negative stuff and I'm going to pull out a couple positive things just to throw them out there.
Yes, let's hear that.
This one is from Films by Benjamin, and he gave it 5 stars. And he said, "Courtney Cox is having an absolute blast as Gail Weathers, and in my opinion, is the MVP of the film. Alongside Parker Posey, they are a dynamic comedy duo, and I need a spin-off of film where their characters star stats. This film is funnier and zanier than the previous iconic entries, so dare I say this arguably is the best out of the Scream original trilogy."
Hmm. A mention of Parker Posey because she
Mhm.
is so quirky and delightful.
Mhm. Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah, she's
Pretty much
she's great.
everything she does. Yeah.
Same. She's a masterpiece in
She
cinema.
Mhm.
Alright, so I just have one more. The thing is that that person's review is a 5 star. I loved it. It's, there's Scream 3 is such a polarizing entry in the series because everyone is so torn on if it's the best or the worst of Scream. So it is a constant conversation, amongst the fandom of if it is the best. A lot of people have very strong opinions about both sides, so we'll talk about that. But I have one more 5-star review to share with you. This is from Chan G456. 5-star review again. They said, "Roman Bridger, director and brother. I know this is a lot of fans' least favorite sequels. For me, it's my personal favorite. Parker Posey and Courtney Cox bounce off each other brilliantly with David Arquette in the middle. Scott Foley plays Roman brilliantly, especially after the reveal, and I enjoy the Hollywood setting. The film does have flaws with a rushed production, including rewrites of the script, and Kevin Williamson not participating as much as the movie seemed confused in which direction it wanted to go. We know there were scrap plot lines, including Stu Macher, also known as Matthew Lillard, being paid, so it was never going to be a great film, but I personally get a lot of enjoyment from it. That's a good review. Kind of balances between both.
Yeah. What were they saying about Matthew Lillard?
Matthew Lillard was originally supposed to be the killer in Scream 3.
What?
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
interesting.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that in a little bit, but I like that review because he kind of points out that there are some flaws in the film, and to him, those flaws didn't really amount to much, so I'm glad that he enjoyed it, and sounds like it's his favorite. So, this brings us to the reaction shot. Lauren, what do you rate Scream 3 on a scale of 1 to 10?
I think a 5.
5? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think a 5. It was
Wow.
entertaining and, like I said, the second watch was just so much better than the first,
Okay.
and I loved the Parker like both the reviews said, I love the Parker Posey, Courtney Cox dynamic.
Mhm.
Thought that was hilarious. It added a lot to it. Um, and I thought it was, like, more fun than the other ones, like quirky, fun, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Scream, but it was enjoyable.
Okay. Do you remember what you gave the first Scream?
Mhm. 6 or 7,
Yeah, I think
maybe?
yeah. So you've kind of declined, so Scream 1 was your highest, and then Scream 2, and now Scream 3.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
But it's still, like, fun to watch, and it's fun to, like, throw on, you know? I'm not like, "I wanna watch Scream 3 today," But, like, if it's on, like, I'm, "Yeah, I'll watch this," you know?
Yeah, cool. Alright,
Yeah.
well, good.
Mhm.
That's a good rating, Lauren, look at this. This is great. I love it. Okay, so my reaction shot for Scream 3 is I give it a 7.5. So,
Oh.
yeah, I mean, it's probably my least favorite Scream movie, if not the second to last least favorite Scream movie.
Mhm.
But with that being said, I still really enjoy Scream 3. I still think it's a good movie. I still always have it in my rotation when I watch the franchise. I don't think it's a bad movie. It's just probably my least favorite of the franchise. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you give Scream?
The original Scream 10.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
What'd
Yep.
you give Scream 2?
9.5.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah.
Well, I know
I
that Scream is, like, one of your favorite
oh yeah.
all-time movies, so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But I also do say like I usually Scream 1 and Scream 2 to me are perfect for, like, one viewing. Like, I can watch them together, like,
Yeah.
to me, that's, like, one and I know Scream 3 is still part of the story I mean, all the whole franchise is a part of the same story, but there's just something about 1 and 2, the tone, the vibe, everything just flows together perfectly. I don't know if it's because they were released 1 year apart, so everything just kind of all came together the same basically 365 days between one another, so I don't know if that's it, but yeah, that's how I feel, at least about the original trilogy. So 7.5,
Yeah.
9.5, 10.
Yeah. I mean, this one definitely has a different vibe. It goes, and it has, like, the story, they're in high school, then they're in college.
Mhm.
It's, like, perfect, and then this one's like, "Wait, they're in Hollywood?" You're
Yeah.
like, "Okay.
Yeah, alright, well, cool, that's great. S
Cool."
So, let's break down our reaction shots a little bit here. What did you think of the writing of Scream 3?
I liked it. I would probably give it a 7.
Okay.
I think the writing was okay. I mean, I think those comedic moments really stood out to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. My writing, I give the rating a 4.5.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot. Every time you do that, I'm like, "Okay, never mind. I think mine was a 3."
You're like, "Yeah, actually, I take it back. It's abysmal." I am a huge fan of Kevin Williamson's writing, who wrote Scream 1 and Scream 2. He had an entire outline for what Scream 3 was going to be, and because of his everything that was happening for him at the same time, he had the success of Dawson's Creek, so he was working on Dawson's Creek. He had The Faculty,
Really?
which he yeah. Did you not know that?
I did not know that, no.
Kevin Williamson created Dawson's Creek, like, that's from his mind, and he wrote the majority of season 1, and he was the showrunner for all of season 2. So,
Can I
and
make
then
a confession to you?
yeah,
I've never seen Dawson's Creek.
this is why people buy these masks and go on sprees. Just kidding. Well, that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, so yeah, but Kevin Williamson just had a lot going on at the time, and everything was just being rushed so fast. So instead of writing the screenplay for Scream 3, he just wrote a really big outline, pretty much from beginning to end, just didn't write the dialogue and the play by plays. Gave it to the studio.
Mhm.
Studio's like, cool. They hired Aaron Kruger to come and write this. And they kind of changed everything, threw away everything that Kevin Williamson originally planned, and the tone, obviously, as you mentioned as well, is just completely different. It fed way too much in the comedy into all the meta stuff that was happening. And that was the thing about Scream 1 and Scream 2 is that it was so clever with it poking fun at itself, where this didn't really know how to balance that poking fun at itself, where it kind of at times feels like a spoof of itself. And I think a
Mhm.
lot of that comes to the writing. And I don't know if you know this either, but they kept writing the script as they were filming the movie. The script
No.
yeah, the script wasn't done. So the scene in the movie when they're getting the pages of the script and they talk about how the pages keep changing and they're like, "Well, I don't know my fucking lines for the day." They're actually making fun of the production of Scream 3. Wes Craven even stepped in and wrote a couple of pages because Aaron Kruger just couldn't get everything out the way that he wanted to, was missing deadlines. Patrick Dempsey didn't get hired for Mark Kincaid until the day before he had to start shooting. Yeah. It was a messy production, and I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I feel like a lot of this comes back to the writing. Now, I'm not saying Aaron Kruger is the reason the movie falls short, but I do think a lot of it starts there. When you have a bad blueprint, it's hard to bring it to life, right?
I don't even understand how you make a movie and not have the entire script, like, prepped and ready. Like, I don't like, that would be so chaotic. Like, this is an example, but, like, Stranger Things just came out,
Mhm.
and they did, like, the same thing. Like, they basically admitted that in, like, the behind the scenes, and I'm like, "How?" It
Yeah.
blows my mind.
I think it was a series of unfortunate events, and I feel like Aaron Kruger probably gets a lot of shit for it. I don't necessarily,
Mm.
again, think it's his fault per se, but, a lot of it does come to the writing, and like I said, that's the blueprint of it all. So if we don't have the blueprint laid out, how are we supposed to bring it to life the correct way, right? With that
No.
being said, how do you feel about the directing of the film?
I think it was good.
Mm,
I'd say I'm gonna give that a 7 too.
7? Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
Good
I
old
give it
Wes
a 7
Craven.
too.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, he knows what he's doing.
yeah, man's done a few films. Um I give directing an 8. I think Wes Craven continuously does he has a style, he has a way that he does things, and he's really good. He went from making really, really low budget, independent, scary movies to making these bigger budget Hollywood horror films that he gives it the soul of, like, those independent horror films, but, brings it to a big Hollywood stage, if that makes sense. But I think his directing has always been really good, and Again, he has a style, so you kind of know what you're getting when you get a Wes Craven film, and I think here it definitely works, especially in like the Hollywood setting. W-
Yeah.
What about the acting?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it an 8. You had, like, a lot of big names, and I think, like, if, what you said about the writing is true, then I feel like the actors did a great job trying to, like, move past that and still give, like, life to the characters,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a really good way to put it. I give it an 8 as well. I think they did a great job for something that was constantly changing. There was actually when people signed on and they were starting to film this movie, half of the movie was filmed with the idea that there was 2 killers, and they changed it halfway through. So the other killer
Yeah,
was
that's
playing
crazy.
yeah, so the other killer was playing as if they were the killer. Fun.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think they did a great job for what they had going on with all of that stuff behind the scenes. What do we think about the suspense of the film?
I don't think it was there for me quite like the first 2. Um, Probably give that, like, a 5.
Okay. Cool.
It just yeah. I'll agree with some of the reviews with that. I felt like it was a little far-fetched.
Mhm.
The ending was a little far-fetched. I don't know. It didn't cohesively, like, make sense to me.
Suspense-wise, I give it a 3. I feel like
Mhm,
the suspense in this movie just didn't really exist, and one of the big scenes I always think about that could have really been something great is the scene with Jenny McCarthy as Sarah Darling when she's in the Sunrise
mhm,
studio and she gets a call from the killer. She thinks it's Roman talking to her on the phone, and then it's kind of like it sets up this chase scene. So she's hiding in a bunch of Ghostface costumes, and
mhm,
all of a sudden Ghostface steps out from the costumes, whatever. I feel like they could have really played with all the props and stuff in
mhm.
the scene, and it was just kinda like as soon as it happened, it was over,
Yeah,
and I don't know, to me, the suspense in this film just doesn't really exist. I mean, there are definitely moments, but there's just, like, never really a follow through for me, in my opinion.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I agree with you.
What about the violence?
I didn't find this one overly violent.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just kinda thought maybe like a 5.
Yep.
Just thought it was, I don't think it was, like, as innovative
Mhm.
as the first 2. Like, the deaths in the first 2 were, like, weird and strange, and you're like, "I didn't expect that," like, garage door, you know?
Mhm.
This, yeah, just the violence seemed a little stale to me.
Stale violence. Hate it. So I agree with you. I give it
Mhm.
a 3. Again, violence didn't really exist, but there's a reason. Do you know why?
No.
April 20th, 1999, Columbine massacre.
Oh, shoot, yeah.
So they ended up pushing back the release date for Scream. I don't remember what the original release date was supposed to be, but I think it was sometime late 99 and they ended up pushing it back to February 2000.
Yeah.
With this, the studio basically told Wes Craven, "No violence, no blood." And Wes
Mm,
Craven was like, "I can't make a Scream movie without blood, like, what are you talking
yeah.
about?"
Yep.
So they had to get creative. The studio was cool with them using blood as long as the violence wasn't too aggressive. There wasn't too many continuous stabbings like the other films. There wasn't long shots of, distress while being killed, and everything just kind of had to be quick and to the point, and there could be blood for like the aftermath. So they kind of approached the violence like leaving it to your imagination. I
Mhm.
understand the approach there. It was definitely a very rough time. Studios were scrambling. A lot of movies changed, the ideas about what was happening in their films at the time. the studio also said no teenagers. So get away from the high school stuff, get away from the college stuff. Let's make sure we're focusing on adults
Mhm.
here.
I mean,
That's
that
why.
rocked
Yeah.
the entire nation. That was
Yeah.
yeah, that totally makes sense.
So we understand it to that degree when we learn that, but I feel like it's still art. It's still a part of a big story, and I feel like they either should have waited a little bit or should have just continued doing what
Yeah,
they're doing. And I don't mean that to be insensitive, but I think at that time, especially if someone was triggered by violence or whatever it might be, I highly doubt that person was going to go see a Scream movie to begin with. You know what I mean? Or is
yep.
that insensitive?
Well, I don't think that's insensitive, but I definitely think that if someone, y you know, like you said, would be triggered by that, they would avoid that movie, you know?
Sure. Yeah. It wasn't like Scream didn't already have it wasn't already a part of pop culture. Everyone knew what Scream was. Like, you knew the violence, you knew the things you were walking into, so
You knew what you
yeah.
yeah, mhm.
But you know what? It is what it is. I get it with the rating scale. I give the violence a 3 because it's just not really there, understandably so. What about the comedy? What do we give the comedy?
Oh, the comedy was good. Comedy was good. Um, I feel like they upped their game a little bit in this one compared to the first 2, so I'm gonna give it, like, a 9.
Oh, yeah. I give it a 5.
Yeah.
Listen, there are some great one-liners. Parker Posey is
Mhm,
incredible, so
mhm,
funny.
so
The
good.
banter, the playoff off of Courtney Cox is fantastic. If we're talking just about comedy in general, definitely up there. 7, 8, like, I get it, but it just feels out of place. There's just too much of
Mhm,
it. It's too much comedy. Parker Posey does such a good job. Her character is fun. The moments are fun. I laugh at things she says. I laugh at things she does. Those moments kind of take me out of the Scream world. So
mhm.
just as much as I love it, I also hate it. So
Yeah, I can
that's yeah. And that's my struggle with the movie. And again, I don't hate the movie.
yeah, and I'm thinking maybe they felt like they had to do that because they had to tone down the violence, so they wanted
Yeah,
to, like, you know,
yeah,
up it in other parts, like yeah.
yeah. I agree. What about the drama of the film?
Um, 3,
Okay.
yeah. I don't feel like it was overly dramatic. Yeah, the big reveal at the end is kinda like, meh, you know?
Meh, meh.
I don't know, maybe it's just me. It was kinda meh. I to for her to have, like, this I don't know. It just seems, like, pretty unbelievable.
Out of left field.
Outta left like, totally outta left field. Yeah.
Okay. Drama, I give it a 4. There's some moments, there's some overly dramatic moments that kind of turn into comedy, I guess. My favorite scene, which we'll talk about one of my favorite scenes we'll talk about is when Sydney goes back to the house on the set and Ghostface comes after her, and it's like all the throwbacks to her in her bedroom and that, which I also feel like it should have been a lot longer, should have been an extended chase scene, should have been a bigger moment. So it
Mhm.
was wasted, but, oh, it's fine. And this brings us to rewatchability, Lauren. On a scale of 1 to 10, how rewatchable is Scream 3 for you?
I'm I'm gonna rate this high just because, like, on my second pass, I enjoyed it so much more, so I'm gonna give it a 9. I think it has definite rewatchableness.
Yeah. Yeah, I give it a 7. Again, I enjoy it. I think this movie has very high highs. Like, Sydney Nev Campbell is incredible in this movie, and she's not even in it that much. I think Sydney's storyline
Mhm.
works really well. I enjoy it, I really do, and looking at it from two different points of view, like, I do enjoy the movie. It's just when I think of it being just a Scream film, that's when I get, like, a little caught up with it. So, I'm gonna do something a little bit fun right now. I haven't done this yet. I thought this would be a fun movie to kinda do this with. I'm ditching the Kevin Bacon thing for season 3, so I wanted to try something a little bit different. I was to do some a little bit of fun game. So, Lauren, I'm gonna just say something related to the film, and I want you to give me your hot take
Mhm,
on it. And I want it just to be one word or a very few words. Don't give hardcore reasons behind what you're saying. Does that make
mhm.
sense? Like that?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
yes, I got it. I got it.
So you got it. All right. Well, I'm gonna start with the one thing that everyone talks about. So again, these are your hot takes. Keep it as short as possible of a response.
Mhm.
Gale Weathers bangs.
Epic.
Epic. Jennifer Jolie.
Um, Sassy.
That sassy bitch.
Uh,
Detective Kincaid.
Confusing.
Cotton Weary's opening scene.
Surprising.
John Milton.
Ew. Ew.
This is fun. The fax machine explosion.
Cool.
Ghostface's new voice changer with everyone's voice recordings.
So dumb.
The Stab 3 set chase.
Meh, okay.
The closet fake out with Jennifer.
Funny.
The Hollywood setting in general.
Perfect for this movie.
Carrie Fisher's cameo.
Amazing and hilarious.
Jay and Silent Bob's cameo.
Amazing as well and hilarious.
The score.
Creepy.
Gail's outfits.
Love.
Sydney's new name, Laura.
Boring.
Randy Meeks.
Oh, so like it was like a hug.
Maureen Prescott's ghost.
Can't be
The security system at Nev Campbell's house.
tragic.
Movie within a movie theme.
Been done.
The final door not being closed moment.
Stupid. Uh,
Roman Bridger being Sydney's brother.
Silly.
The mansion finale.
Great decor.
Favorite kill.
Sarah Darling.
Least favorite kill.
Cotton Weary.
Perfect. You nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. Maybe I'll continue this.
I thought it was fun.
Perfect. Good. Okay, cool. So, Scream 3, tell me everything you loved about the movie, and then tell me everything you hate about the movie. Like, what worked for you and what didn't?
Okay. Okay, first of all, I wanna explain my epic thing for
Okay.
Courtney Cox's bangs.
Okay.
I actually really love them.
Yeah?
They're like the baby bangs. That was so popular then.
The baby bangs be banging.
Baby bangs. Yeah, everybody wanted baby bangs, and not
Okay.
everyone could pull them off. I never could pull them off, but it was they were cute and I loved them. So I'm in defense of her bangs.
Okay. That's great. That's a good hot take. I'll take it.
Mhm.
I wish you would have cut your hair like that for this episode alone.
I maybe should have gotten some like clip-in bangs.
Should have. Missed opportunities.
Opportunity. Yeah. I I they they get this hate that I don't like. I think it
Yeah.
was the time baby
Sure.
bangs were a thing, and, so were her, like, outfits. Like, that was her vibe is totally the year 2000. So,
I agree. I agree.
in defense of bang. Yeah.
You heard it here first, guys. Lauren Drake is in defense of
Um,
Courtney Cox's bangs. Gail Weathers, you better keep them.
yes.
Yes.
What worked for me, obviously, I feel like the character relationships, I loved, obviously, Parker Posey and Courtney Cox. I
Mhm.
do love that kind of, like, back and forth thing with Gail and Dewey. I'm like, I root for them all the time, and it takes these, like, tragic events for them to, like, realize what they mean to each other. So, I yeah, I love, like, the character relationships in this one. What didn't work, I think, was, like, the ending. It just seemed, like you said, out of left field. Um, and, like, the whole time I was thinking it was Patrick Dempsey. He just played really, like, a little creepy to me.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. Yeah, it was a little out of left field for me.
So you were shocked when you found out who the killer was?
I was, but, like, not in a good way.
Gotcha. So when he takes off
Yeah,
his
yeah,
mask and he's like, "Roman Bridger, director, brother." Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. Yeah. I obviously, I saw Scream 3 in theaters. Surprise, surprise.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
I fucking loved it. It was a great time.
Mhm,
I remember when the reveal happened, I was a little, like, let down. I will say, though, so this is my thing about Scream, the whole franchise, and this is what I tell everyone. It's one continuous story, and everyone's like, "Well, they're just probably just like, pulling at straws now, basically trying to come up with connections and blah, blah, blah." I was like, "But in in a weird way, though, they still make it work." So even though I was kinda like, "Yeah, okay." She has a long lost brother. He's the one
mhm,
who basically told Billy and Stu to start doing what they were doing. It's still in my opinion, it still works for me because it still makes sense. They didn't necessarily ruin anything. They didn't. So yeah, they brought something out of left field, but I do know there's people in the world who discover they have siblings they never knew about
yeah,
or it's their life.
yeah,
So I do give it that. So even though I'm just kinda like, "Ugh, alright, Roman, cool, alright, that's great. Never met this character, never heard anything about it." That's to me, that's the great thing about Scream is that everything's, for the most part, usually always grounded in reality in some type of way.
mm,
And I do think that's what I like about the franchise as a whole. So when I do talk about the franchise, I'm like, but it still works. So even though maybe they are grasping at things, they find a way to explain why we never saw it in the first place. So I give them credit for
mhm,
that. But
yeah,
this film originally had 2 killers. Do you know who the
yeah.
other killer was supposed to be?
I don't, but I'm so curious.
Okay. So the other killer was supposed to be Angelina Tyler. So the Angelina character. She was the one playing Sydney.
Oh, yeah, she was a little sus the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from my understanding, the actress Emily Mortimer, was under the impression that she was the killer. There are scenes where she admits that she was playing it, kind of hamming it up a little bit because she was the killer. So there
Yeah.
are certain things that happened in the film that were there for a reason. So when Sydney catches her in the bathroom with the ghost face mask and stuff, she was actually supposed to be the killer. Like, that was supposed to be, like, they were using as a red herring moment where it's like, "Oh, well, there's no way she's the killer. Sydney just caught her with these things that she's using as souvenirs from the studio that she was stealing." So, I think that, I mean, in a weird way, I think that would work because if you look at the movie as a whole and you're really breaking down the kills, there's no way that Roman could have been alone. It just doesn't work.
So what was her connection to him and why she wanted all these people
I
dead?
I don't know that. That's actually a really good question. I'm assuming I think they make a reference in the movie to them have previously dated or, oh,
Yeah.
she fucked him to get the part.
Yeah.
Yes. So she fucked him to get the part. So I'm assuming that there was probably a relationship type thing going on there. She was obsessed with him. You know, they slept together for this role and she was playing such an iconic role. I feel like maybe that would have been a part of it. And then well, what would have been cool about her being the killer is that this entire franchise, even all the way up until now with Scream 7, everyone's like, "Sydney needs to be the killer at some point in time. She needs to snap," which I don't agree with.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
that would have been a fun way for Scream 3 to have Sydney be the killer, you know, the character of
Mm.
Sydney. So, like, that right there, that's the meta thing that they didn't fucking play with the right way. They focused too much on everything, like, all the other meta things that just became way too much. So, you said you love the Jay and Silent Bob cameo. Look, I love Jay and Silent Bob, but they don't need to be in this movie. That to me is when the movie, like,
No.
starts feeling so out of place of what it's doing. I get it. It's Hollywood. You're on a movie set. They're filming a movie on a movie set. Of course, there's gonna be other actors there, but I just feel like it pulls us away from what was happening. Just my opinion. Jay and Silent Bob, though, love them. Happy to see them,
Yeah.
but maybe not in a Scream movie.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so there is a alternate version of this film that leaked not too long ago. It's been rumored to have been spliced together, and it did leak. I do have it. It's called Scream 3: The Assembly Cut. It's all in black and white because I'm assuming someone pirated the film and took the color grading off of it for whatever reason, but there are so many, like, alternate scenes, alternate dialogue, longer moments, some, like, completely alternate scenes too that work a lot better. I don't know, I watched it one time, I think it felt a little bit darker and not as comedic. I don't know, I just kinda wish maybe they would've went that route a little bit more, but I'm glad that it's out there for people to see if they wanna watch a different version of the film, like, the opening scene with
I don't
Cotton's different.
wanna
Christine's not even in it. He's talking
Yeah.
to Christine and makes references to her, but it's literally just all Cotton and there's different it's like a longer scene in the beginning. It just everything just feels like it works a little bit better. I don't know.
Mhm. I would be definitely interested in watching that for sure.
Yeah, I'll try to send you the file. I do have it.
Way.
Yeah, send it your way. So, Parker Posey, again, I know we talked about her quite a bit. I think she does a phenomenal job. Her line delivery, her comedic timing is everything I love about comedy. So, if we're just looking at it from that perspective, it's perfect. One of the things that people always say about Scream 3 that I couldn't agree with more, and it's repeated a lot, so it's not an original thought of mine, but people always refer to it as, the Scooby Gang version of the Scream, that it feels like one big Scooby-Doo movie,
I kind
and
of
I know, I see it too, and it that's again, that's what takes me out of the Scream world, but I do like that reference to Scooby-Doo because it does feel like that. Scream's always been
Mhm.
a mystery film. I think I even told you in the beginning when I wanted you to watch these movies because you don't really like scary movies. I think I told you, like, this is kind of like a gateway into horror films because it plays out more like a mystery, true crime type of film. I think you could probably agree that or you could probably say that you agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. For them to make, like, a Scooby-Doo reference for Scream 3 makes sense, but I think that's also them saying, like, it gets a little bit far-fetched or a little bit too cartoony. Prime example, when Ghostface is at the bottom of the steps in the basement and throws the knife up at Dewey,
I know.
it's so annoying. Every time I see that scene, I'm just like,
What
"What the fuck?"
is happening?
Like, why did we have to put it in slow-mo? Why does it have to be in slow-mo? It's so dramatic, and when it hits him, I feel like he should just, like, cross his eyes, and there should have been, like, a "boink" on the screen because 'cause
With,
I
like, stars?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that is one scene in the movie where I'm just like, I don't know what anyone on set was thinking, like, I don't know what Wes Craven was thinking. That just doesn't I don't know, why couldn't he just like, throwing the knife is fine, but we as an audience, I would think, I would hope, are smart enough to understand that if you're throwing a knife at someone, there's a percentage that that knife is going to stick or you're gonna get knocked out from the back end of the knife, like, that's just common sense. So, I don't know, that scene I sound like I'm ripping this movie apart, I do apologize.
No, but I know you love it. It's
Do.
just but it's just not it's not the original.
Yeah,
The
it's
original.
not. Do you have, like, a favorite line on like, a line that really sticks out to you?
Huh. Favorite line, favorite line. I don't know. I think, like, just like anything with Dewey and Courtney. Dewey and Gail.
Okay. Did you like their engagement? Got engaged in the movie, did you like that?
I loved that, yeah. Just a little ring in the book. That was
Mhm.
cute.
Yeah.
I loved it. Eh.
Poor Dewey. So, one of the lines that I love that is a part of pop culture that everyone references in this movie is, "My lawyer liked that." Do do y'all remember that?
Oh, did
Guys, Lauren just looked at me like I said the most insane line from, like, some alternate universe.
wait, is that Parker Posey?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I remember that now.
Yeah.
I can't think of any, like, specific line,
No,
but
that's yeah, that's fine. But that's one line that everyone talks about in this movie. It's
mm,
referenced I mean, I obviously live and breathe pop culture stuff, so I'm probably in my algorithms everywhere, but it's definitely one of a very reused line that people say all the time. One of my least favorite lines also comes from Parker Posey, and it pisses me off every time it happens when the house explosion happens and they're rolling down the hill. She says, "I can't stop rolling." Like, shut the fuck up. Just roll down the damn hill. Like,
Oh
it has to be
god.
painful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So
I
annoying.
I hate it too. I hate it with you.
Thank you. Thank you for having my back.
I have always, Dave, I always have your back.
So, yeah, I mean, what it all boils down to, this film definitely suffered from a horrific tragedy that happened in the real world, and they had to make some changes. There was a lot of rewrites. There was some last second casting. So there's a lot of things that weren't working in its favor, and I do honestly think that it shows as a whole. But at the end of the day, the movie does what it needed to do. We are here for Sydney Prescott, and I think the story they tell with Sydney Prescott here is great. I think they play very well into her being a survivor, like a real final girl. A lot of people look at it as if she ran away, she got a secluded house, she changed her name. And sure, I mean, in hindsight, that is kind of what she did. But I don't necessarily think that she's completely sheltered herself from, she still keeps in contact with Dewey. So she's still out there. She still sees her dad. Her dad comes over, and helps out around the house and everything. So her being like a counselor, a crisis counselor, I think that's smart. I can see her dealing with women with trauma. So I think these little pieces that they were doing with Sydney worked out really well. Nev Campbell was not available for all a lot of time in this movie, so she's not really in the film that much, but
Yeah.
I think the little bit of time that they had her for, I think it kinda worked out in their favor.
Yeah.
Uh,
Interesting.
yeah.
What project was she doing? Like, what else was she doing?
Nev Campbell at the time was finishing up her role on Party of 5. It was the final season, so she was filming that stuff, and then she also had another film she was
Mhm.
in with William H. Macy called Panic, and she also had Drowning Mona at the same exact time with, Danny DeVito and Jamie Lee Curtis. So, she had a couple other projects that were kind of all happening at the same exact time, so I think that kind of kept
Mhm.
her away from having a full schedule like she obviously always had. But
Mhm.
again, they still made it work with what they had, I think.
Yeah.
Now, one other thing I really
Interesting.
wanna touch on one other thing I really wanna touch on before, we wrap this up is the story of good old Milton. Now, this all ties back to Maureen Prescott being an actress and working at Sunrise Studios. She changed her name, she wanted to do films, and we start to learn that there's a disgusting film producer named Milton that had his hand
Mhm.
on making women successful and that there was sexual acts involved. Obviously, as you said, ew, yes,
Yeah.
disgusting. The great thing that we get from this from a storytelling perspective is we all know Harvey Weinstein.
Yes.
So Harvey Weinstein is a part of Dimension Films that produced the Scream films. So so Harvey Weinstein is a producer of the Scream films.
Oh,
I guess you didn't know that.
OMG.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So now
Ugh.
with this knowledge, Harvey wasn't as active in producing Scream 3 as his brother Bob was. Bob was more present for this production and everything that was happening. Now, no one knows the story behind all of this, but if you really listen to the dialogue these characters are saying about this situation, about Maureen Prescott sleeping with the producer, is it almost feels as if they were telling us exactly what Harvey Weinstein was doing and we all didn't get it. It was this was before any allegations came out, anyone spoke up about him, and it was almost like they were telling us, like, this is one of the things that the film does really well too, is it plays into the Me Too movement before the Me Too movement happened.
So, Brother Bob,
Brother Bob.
he is he yucky too?
Uh, I don't think he was. I don't think he was
Okay.
involved in things that Harvey was. If
Mhm.
I'm wrong, I apologize, but I really think that all the allegations are solely for Harvey.
Yeah.
So it was
Hmm.
almost like it was almost like Wes knew, maybe the writer Aaron Kruger knew, but at the end of the day, it was as if because we know from some of these people testifying against him that there was a lot of like hush hush, don't say anything, or I'm going to ruin your life. So I feel
Right,
maybe
right.
as though around this time is when people started chatting a lot amongst themselves, people were finding out things, or people were getting ready to start speaking up, and it was almost like Scream 3 was trying to tell us without ruining anyone's careers.
Makes
Okay,
so
so
much sense. I
yeah,
had no idea that he produced these movies. I didn't.
yeah. Honestly, Lauren, like, you would be surprised what the Weinstein brothers have produced. I would say probably, not even lying, probably 60% of the movies that you've seen from the '90s and early 2000s are the Weinstein Brothers films.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's hmm. Okay. I
So
didn't realize it was like a brother thing either. I think
mhm,
that's like
yeah, it sucks that, people weren't able to speak up at this time. So people do give credit to Scream 3 for at least trying to get that knowledge out there that they're not that anyone didn't know that things like that were happening or could have happened, but this was their way of really kind of waving a red flag, I guess. Like
mhm.
this stuff's actually happening with these studios that we're being a part of. So the
Oh,
the more you know.
no.
Well, Lauren, any final thoughts on good old Scream 3?
I just love how in general this franchise has kind of it's become like one of my not like my favorite franchise, but it's become like a thing for me. I do like these movies. I do enjoy them, and they're just like the perfect amount of horror.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you introduced them to me.
Well, I'm glad that you faced your fears and started watching these movies, and I'm glad that you're enjoying them. I think there hasn't really been
Mhm.
one of them that you've like despised, so that's great.
No, no, I loved the new ones. I'm excited for the new ones. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Scream 3 is a great entry in the franchise. I've mentioned it a million times. It might not be my favorite, but I don't think there's a bad movie in the franchise. There's some of them that have their flaws. Nothing's ever perfect, but I
Mhm.
think as a whole, this franchise is one of my absolute favorites. So I could watch the Scream movies all the time. I don't get bored with them. I always have fun with them. I love the all the meta takes they have on films and what's going on in pop culture. Like all of it's just right up my alley, and that's what made me fall in love with Scream in the first place. And that's what continues
Mhm.
making me love this film. So even though this one kind of takes it over the top from time to time, there's still so many great moments that I hold on to, I reference, and just thinking about the things that could have been with Scream 3 and that maybe didn't follow through, I know that maybe they could just use for another day.
Mhm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yay, Scream 3. Well, Lauren, I really appreciate you taking the time today to talk to me about Scream 3. I think we had a good conversation, kind of breaking down what we loved and what we loathed about the film. And I think we're pretty much in agreement on a lot of that stuff. So, good conversation there. And obviously, I'll have you back on the show super soon. And we'll definitely be doing Scream 4, Scream
Yeah.
5, Scream 6. And I can't wait to hear what you think about Scream 7. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys,
Mhm.
everyone, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. Lauren, thanks for joining me for this conversation. I will talk to all of you later. Bye, guys.
Bye.